To start here, remember our magic triangle. So the first question, student measures a mass of 8 centimeter cube block of brown sugar to be 12.9 grams. What's the density? So again, we're looking for density. So it's mass over volume. So mass, as a reminder, is going to be in grams. Volume is going to be either centimeters cubed or milliliters. Better not put that there. I'm going to write or. Okay, and then density is going to be in grams per milliliter or grams per centimeters cubed, depending on if it's a liquid or solid. Okay, so this one is for the mass. I look for grams for the mass, so density is going to equal the 12.9 grams. The volume there, 8 centimeters cubed. So in my calculator, I'm going to type those in, 12.9 divided by 8 equals 1.61 grams per centimeters cubed. There's my density of brown sugar. Next, number 2, looking for the density of oil. So density again, mass over volume. Density, so for my mass, I need grams. Here it is, 43.5 grams of cooking oil. And the volume here, 50 milliliters. So again, we're going to do 43.5 divided by 50. So my density is going to equal 0.87 grams per milliliters. Calculate the mass. Okay, so for this one, we need mass is what we want. So again, using our magic triangle, mass equals density times volume. So mass equals density is going to be, again, up at the top here. This one's the density, 2.5 grams per milliliter, multiplied by the volume, which is here, volume of 15 milliliters. So here again, we go 2.5 times 15 equals, so my mass is 37.5 grams. Okay, calculate the volume. So volume, again, so how do we do volume? Looking at our magic triangle here, mass divided by density is volume. Okay, so we need grams on the top. There it is, 65 grams. And then density on the bottom, which is 5.45 grams per milliliter. And I'm going to divide those. 65 divided by 5.45 equals 11.93. We're just going to round to hundredths. And that is that. So it's milliliters for volume. Okay, pretty basic there. Density equals mass divided by volume. Density again equals my mass. There it is, a mass of 176 grams. Volume I'm looking for. Okay, so here we got to figure out the volume. So this one is a cube that measures 4 centimeters. So I've got a cube, 4 centimeters. So remember, that's going to make it a cube, so it's going to be 4 centimeters on all sides. So remember, volume is length times width times height when it's a solid to figure out the volume. So we'll get that out of the way. So that's going to be 4 times 4 times 4. 4 cubed, 64 centimeters cubed. 64 centimeters cubed. So that equals 176 grams divided by 64 equals 2.75 grams per centimeters cubed. Okay, so aluminum is quite dense. Teacher performing demonstration. What is the density? So density equals mass divided by volume. Density equals, so my mass is 5.7 grams, it says. And then my volume, 23.5 milliliters. Okay, 5.7 divided by 23.5 is 0.24 4 grams per milliliter. Okay, on to the next part. Carver begins work on this falling piece of granite. There's the sizes. What's the density? So I know the sizes, so I've got to figure out the volume. So remember, length times width times height. So volume is going to be 20 times 5 times 10. So that volume is 1,000 centimeters cubed. 20 times 5 times 10,000. Okay, so now I can do what the density equals mass divided by volume. Density equals mass, which was 2,700 grams divided by 1,000 centimeters cubed. So I type that in my calculator, and that's going to be 2.7 grams per centimeters cubed. Okay, paste the PVC pipe, displaces 50 milliliters of water when placing in water. Okay, so that's my volume, and this one says mass. So calculate the density. Density equals mass over volume. Density equals mass, 78 grams. Volume, 60 milliliters. So 78 divided by 60 equals 1.3 grams per milliliter for the density of that PVC pipe. Okay. Next one. Solid magnesium flare has a mass of 1,300 grams, volume of 743. So we want to find the density. So it's mass divided by volume. Mass is 1,300 grams divided by 743 centimeters cubed. Type that in my calculator. 1,300 divided by 743 is the density of the magnesium, 1.75 grams per centimeters cubed. All right, number 10. Graduated cylinder has a mass of 50 grams when empty. When you add 30 water, it has a mass of 120. If a rock is added into that graduated cylinder, the rock level rises 75 milliliters. Total mass is now 550. What's the density? So again, we need to know density. We need to find the mass and the volume. This one's got a lot to it. So let's go with the volume first. So we have, what it's saying is there's 30 milliliters of water in there. I add in the rock, and then the water level rises up to 75. So again, I just need to subtract those to show the displacement there. So then it's a 45 milliliter for my volume. It's the change there. Okay, so that's going to be 45 milliliters down here. Now for the mass, this one's slightly tricky. So the total, where it says the cylinder, the water, and the rock equals 250. But I just need to know what the rock is. So I need to get rid of the cylinder and the water. So the water and the cylinder is a mass of 120. So then I'm going to subtract 120 grams. Oh, stop, Molly. It's 130 grams is how much the rock weighs. So now I can do my density. Now that I know those two values. Now I have density equals 130 divided by 45 is going to be 289 grams per milliliter is what the density of that rock is. Okay, next one. Student performs experiment with 3 unknown fluids and obtains the following measurements. There we go, there we go. Draw how the fluids would be layered. So again, on this one, what's going to be at the bottom when I put the 3 in there? The most dense fluid's going to be at the bottom up to the least dense, so for the 3. So how would I figure this out? Well, I've got to figure out the density of each of these. So again, density is mass divided by the volume. So I have the mass and I have the volume. So I have to do each one of those. So 2,660 divided by 2,000. So this one, the density equals 10.3 grams per milliliter. The next one, 672 divided by 850 is going to be 0.79 grams per milliliter. And then the third one is going to be 990 divided by 1100, 0.9 grams per milliliter. Okay, so the most dense, of course, is going to be this one, A. Okay, it's 10. So you've got 200 milliliters of that, so it's going to be in here like here. So it's going to be A. Okay, fill it in this one. Next is going to be the most dense, then is D. 0.9 is closer to 1 than 0.79. So then C is going to be the next one, and it's 1100. So it's about half of what A was. So that's C. Okay, and then our final one is B. It's the lightest, and it was 850. So it's a little bit less than that. So it's going to be up here, and that's B. So that's what they would look like in there. Okay, last page here. So these are density scales. So again, we have to find the density of each of these. So density equals mass divided by volume, because it gives us the mass and the volume each time. So we've got density equals 26.76 grams divided by 3 centimeters cubed. There should be a cube there. So density is going to equal 26.76 divided by 3, 8.92. So what one does that equal? Copper. Hint there on the penny or the coin, but we had to prove it. Okay, the next one. Let's do this one down here, the ring. You find a ring with a mass of 10, so there's the mass. You fill a graduated cylinder with 10 water. Put the ring in the cylinder, the water rises up to 15. So what's our displacement there? 15 subtract 10 is going to be 5 milliliters, is our volume. Okay, so density equals mass over volume. Density equals 107 grams divided by 5 milliliters. Density equals 107 divided by 5, 21.4 grams per milliliter. So that is platinum. Okay, you think you found a diamond. The mass is 5.28 grams, and the volume is, so D equals mass over volume. D equals 5.28 grams divided by 2 centimeters cubed. 5.28 divided by 2 centimeters is 2.64 grams per centimeter cubed. 2.64 is quartz. Didn't find a diamond. All right, it's blocking your desk. Measurements are this. So again, we got to find the volume of this one. It's showing us the measurements. Length times width times height. 3 by 4 by 6. So 3 times 4 times 6 equals 72 centimeters cubed. Okay, so now we have that mass divided by volume. The mass it's showing right there equals 184.32 grams divided by 72 centimeters cubed. 184.32 divided by 72 equals, density equals 2.56 grams per centimeters cubed. So which one is that? 2.56 is going to be marble.